She betrayed me, so I took everything, including our daughter. I never thought I'd be telling this story, but when you've been humiliated, betrayed, and shattered by the person you love the most, something inside you changes forever. My name doesn't matter, but what I lived through does, and I want everyone to hear it, maybe as a warning, maybe as catharsis, or maybe because sometimes the only way to heal is to write it all down, because there are wounds you can't see, but they bleed you dry from the inside. I was married to Valeria for 17 years. We had a daughter, Amanda, who at the time was 12. Our life wasn't perfect, but I felt we had a solid foundation built. Over years of sacrifices, late-night conversations, and silent moments shared. I worked as a civil engineer, spending long hours away from home, but I always tried to be present. Birthdays, homework, family trips. Valeria, meanwhile, was a homemaker and part-time assistant at a dental clinic. She always said Amanda and I were her whole world. I believed her. I like to think we were a team, but teams don't stab each other in the back. I started noticing changes gradually. She no longer kissed me like before, avoided physical contact, and every time I came home, I felt like I was in Schrödinger's if I were interrupting something. I thought it was just the wear and tear of time, so I suggested we try couples therapy. She said I was overreacting, that everything was fine, just that she was stressed and needed some space. She'd say strange things like I'm not the same woman I used to be, or maybe I've lost my way, with the best intentions. I gave her space. I wanted to understand. I believed that, with patience, we'd find our way back to each other. One random Friday, Amanda asked me for help with a school project. Valeria said she had an extra shift at the clinic. I was tired but willing, so I spent the afternoon with my daughter, as usual, while Amanda was researching in the living room. I remembered I needed some documents for a medical appointment at the following week. I went up to the study to look through the family folder where we usually kept those things. And that's when, while opening a drawer, I found an open box of condoms. I froze. We hadn't been intimate for months. My heart pounded like a drum. I told myself there could be an explanation. But deep down, I already knew. I didn't say anything that night. I didn't sleep. The next day, I followed her. Somewhere between fury and hope that I was wrong. I watched her get into a man's car, hug him naturally, kiss him affectionately, and walk with him into a motel. I recorded what I could from the car, though the distance and angle weren't ideal. I captured a few seconds of their embrace and them entering the place. Still, it was enough. I didn't need more. Reality hit me like a cold wave. I couldn't move. I couldn't scream. I just breathed heavily, holding it in. I didn't cry in that moment. I was frozen inside. I put my phone away, wiped my sweaty hands on my jeans, and drove back home like a ghost. I locked myself in the bathroom for hours. Didn't shower, didn't talk, didn't turn on the light. I just sat there, on the cold floor, asking myself how I hadn't seen it sooner. Maybe I did know. I just didn't want to admit it. I didn't say a word to her for a week, but I didn't stay idle. I hired a private investigator. In just a few days, I had everything. The guy's name, his history, photos, messages. His name was Julian Romero. He was 41, divorced, and had serious medical issues. What I didn't expect was the cruelest blow. The man was HIV positive. I found out because the investigator accessed his private chats and found a conversation with a doctor friend where Julian openly talked about his condition and how he was secretly dating a woman without disclosing his diagnosis. He said he hadn't told her yet because, according to him, they weren't having unprotected sex and it wasn't his responsibility to explain everything right away. The most terrifying part was that Valeria apparently didn't know. She was involved with someone who not only hid his illness, but used it like a power game. As if lying, endangering lives, and betraying a family were negotiable, I couldn't believe it. My wife hadn't just cheated and lied. She had unknowingly gotten herself into something far more dangerous. She had shared her intimate life with a man hiding a serious illness, and the worst part was that she had no idea. She hadn't just risked her health, but mine and our daughter's emotional stability. My blood boiled with every new detail I uncovered. This wasn't just emotional betrayal, it was a direct threat to everything we had built. But I didn't react with yelling. I planned, patiently, like a surgeon who knows exactly where to cut, leaving no visible marks, but going deep. Where it hurts the most, I found a lawyer. I showed him everything, the evidence of the affair, the recordings, the messages, the investigator's report. I quietly began the divorce process, but before taking legal action, I spoke to Amanda. I told her the truth, not the sexual details, but enough for her to understand that her mother was hurting us. At first she cried, got angry, didn't believe me, but when I showed her one of the photos, her mom kissing another man outside a hotel, something inside her broke. Her expression changed. It was like something shut down forever. From that day on, Amanda refused to see her mother. She said she'd been betrayed and couldn't look at her without remembering what she had done. I tried to mediate. After all, Valeria was still her mother. But Amanda stood firm. I don't ever want to be alone with her. Never again. That sentence etched itself into me like a silent wound. I took advantage of that emotional break to file for full custody. This wasn't just about infidelity anymore. It was about protection. Amanda didn't want to see her, and she was emotionally devastated. The judge listened to Amanda in a private interview. She repeated everything with a maturity that crushed me. She said her mother had broken both our trust, that she didn't feel safe with her, that she couldn't forgive what she'd done. She was firm. The judge didn't take long. He granted me full custody, also citing the psychological impact the whole situation had caused. Valeria was granted supervised visits only with professional oversight. But even that didn't help. Amanda rejected everyone. For her, her mother no longer existed. When Valeria received the court order, she broke down. She cried, screamed, called me a monster, said I was tearing her away from her daughter out of revenge, that I was destroying her life over a mistake. But it wasn't just a mistake, and she knew it. It wasn't a moment of weakness or a spur-of-the-moment affair. She had endangered an entire family. She had lied, cheated, and exposed her own daughter to a reality Amanda didn't deserve. I only said, "You lost her, not me." Her tears didn't move me anymore. Not anymore. That woman wasn't my wife. She was a stranger who had burned everything down from within. At first, she insisted, called every day, sent texts, letters, that ended up in the trash or unopened. I didn't answer any of them, and neither did Amanda. She knew her mother was calling me, and even if it wasn't directed at her, the rejection was shared. Amanda never asked to talk to her, never wanted to know what she said. For both of us, silence was the only response. It wasn't indifference, it was pain. And then came complete silence, the kind that echoes through the house. The man she risked everything for, Julian Romero, left her just like that according to people from the clinic. And then came the consequence no one could hide. Despite their so-called precautions, she also tested positive. Valeria, the woman who once vowed loyalty to me, now carried not only the weight of abandonment, but also the disease. She no longer works at the clinic. Rumor has it she resigned when whispers started. She moved in with a sister in another city, probably trying to outrun a reputation that follows her like a shadow. She lost weight, her hair started falling out, and some say she's now unrecognizable in the streets. No one visits her. No one wants to know about her. Amanda has never once asked about her mother. And when I see her cry silently, I know those tears aren't about reconciliation. It's a private mourning for someone who no longer exists. And I don't force it. Some wounds need their own time to close. And there are betrayals that leave scars even time won't dare touch. Sometimes, I wonder if I should have done things differently. But when I go over every decision, every step I took from the moment I discovered the truth, I realize I acted with a clear head, never letting anger take over. I did what I had to do. I took everything from her. Her lies, her false sense of security, her family, and I didn't need to scream or cause a scene. I got revenge without ever touching her, because there is no greater punishment than being ignored by the one person who once loved you unconditionally, your own daughter. That can't be undone, that won't be forgotten.